You know, it's really hard to navigate people. It's hard to navigate life. When you've been gaslit your whole life, from a young age, from not just you, but your parents were gaslit. Your parents were gaslit by your doctors about you, about themselves. And there's like gaslighting all around. The American dream is a gaslight. Like, the whole fucking thing. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, I'm not sorry, I'm sorry. But, hi, I'm Katja, the audio artist. I was diagnosed, 9 months now? Diagnosed with autism. Had to move across the country to get adequate medical care. And I was very fortunate to finally get enough help to leave a traumatic, unhealthy, toxic situation, and to pursue finally my proper diagnosis and stop. I was taking medications for mental illnesses that I didn't have for decades. Yeah. And, you know, being told it's all in your head, it doesn't just go away. Like, there's so much that is internalized. And there's so many social skills that I didn't learn now that I am in my 40s. And I raised kids, they're adults now, and the repercussions have ripple effects throughout my life. Every person that I've involved myself with. I know I've done good. It's not all bad, but still there's ripple effects. And that's so messed up. And it's because of algorithms. It's because of these formulas that they put in place. Because I was a girl, I was not allowed into studies. I was not allowed for, you know, certain things. And because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and because my mom was gaslit and wasn't, you know, like back then in the 80s, they didn't know, like, get second opinions and stuff like that. So she kept taking me to the same pediatrician, and, you know, he didn't take me for testing. I was in pain. Growing pains is not a thing, guys. Like, that's not okay. I, in November, found out I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder, and I also have fibromyalgia. I have POTS, which is a dysautonomia. It stands for postural orthopedic tachycardia syndrome. And for years I had been passing out. My heart rate has been increasing. I thought I was having heart attacks. They told me it was anxiety. They put me on anxiety medications. That wasn't helping me. I was having insomnia since I was a kid. you know, I found out I had Raynaud's syndrome, or Raynaud's phenomenon, also called Raynaud's disease, which sucks. I also recently found out I have an autoimmune disease, and I'm allergic to a lot of things that I didn't know. I thought it was normal that when they put a Band-Aid on you that you have red whelps and stuff from the adhesive. I thought everyone did that. It hurts when I swallow. It hurts when I eat. It hurts when I lay down. I wake up in the night aspirating on my GERD or whatever on my vomit, like I'm choking to death on some acid reflux. It's terrifying, and it makes it scary to go to sleep. It doesn't matter which way I sleep, even if I sit up, it can happen. I have chronic pain. I have osteoarthritis in my joints. I recently found out I have a carpal tunnel syndrome. And there's things that I have found out in reports that they didn't tell me post-op or anything. I went to take out my gallbladder in May, found out in my report that when they went to inspect the gallbladder, there actually weren't gallstones in my gallbladder. My duct was working perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with my gallbladder. They still took my gallbladder out, but they did find out that I had, what is it called? I'll have to put it down in the description below, but it's like pyloric stenosis or something like that. Basically, I had a gastric sleeve surgery a few years ago because my weight, I couldn't keep it off. So I went and had surgery for that. And even though I was doing everything right, I was exercising and all the stuff, and I just couldn't get it to stay off, and I just was desperate after years of exercise, proper dieting. I've done it all, okay? I would lose the weight and it would come right back, or I just couldn't get it off my stomach, and you know, have apparently basically what that is that they it's where the stomach and the small intestine, it's like pinched off, and it leads to slow emptying of the stomach, and it's painful. And so all that pain I've been having that led to the gallbladder removal, it's still there. And they put a camera down my throat when I was, they saw it before they took the gallbladder out. It's in the report. They didn't even go over the report with me. They didn't even remove the suture that was left behind from that surgery, from the gastric sleeve. They didn't take it out. They didn't talk to me. They didn't ask me anything. They didn't talk to me about my options. And they know. I went to that doctor because of that surgery, because I had it in a different country. They knew I was going there for a follow-up of that, and they still didn't address it. And they knew I was autistic, and they knew, like, so when I was diagnosed autistic, I also was like telling that doctor that evaluated me, all of these physical things that I've been having. And so because of that, he thought I was obsessed with everything. And so he labeled me with somatic symptom disorder. But the truth of the matter is, of course I'm going to be obsessed. Somatic symptom disorder. Yeah, I'm going to be obsessed about these things because people have ignored my symptoms since I was a kid. And so I started to ignore them. But once I was told I was autistic and I started to feel some validation over that, I was like, well, maybe I can get some validation for these other things. And so I started to do that. You know, I went to this one doctor for a long time and he just kept gaslighting me. And when I wanted to give up, like really just leave the planet and give up, after going to the ER all the time, they just kept telling me I was fine. Your labs look great. You know, I get a call, because they always call after an ER visit, and they're like, how was your ER visit? I'm like, well, I wanna on a line because nobody believes me. And she's like, well, that's not good. Your doctor works for you, and let's find you another doctor. Well, I was fortunate enough to get a nurse practitioner who was, as a teenager, a very rare person. She was a brain cancer survivor, and she advocated for me, and she sent me to all the specialists, and turns out I had all of these things, and they're still testing. They said during the gallbladder surgery that there was blood in my pelvic area, probably left over from menses. And I'm like, okay, how is it in my abdomen? Is it menses supposed to be in my uterus? But I had seen several gynecologists for years about horrible pain and very prolonged bleeding, heavy bleeding that was terrible. And the first doctor, she gave me, like, I think it was called prolactin, progesterone or something, and it helped. And then I moved, and then the next doctor was like, I want to give you an ablation of your uterus. And I was like, I don't want a laser, like, ablation. That means to destroy the lining of my uterus, you know? Like, this same thing happened to my mom, where she was bleeding to death and everything. Like, every aunt and my mom has had a hysterectomy. Is like 4 of them, right? Come to find out, all those symptoms are endometriosis, which is also a comorbid condition to people with the other conditions that I have. And so I've been really gaslit this whole time. And, you know, I had asked that doctor, that last gynecologist, I was like, can you just check my hormones? And she's like, no, at this point you're like, you know, you're getting to the age where you're like premenopausal, and you don't really want to have any more kids. Like, wow, thanks for consulting me on that. Like, as my doctor, like, that's any of your business. That's really, like, great bedside manner. Come on. That's sarcasm, by the way, people. Like, that really was so insensitive of her, and it really just made me feel like people like me that have PTSD over medical stuff, and have been gaslit for so many years, it's really hard, especially when, like, people in my family don't trust the medical system either, because of course, why would they? Because they've been medically, like, injured, you know? And I don't blame them for that. And it terrifies me because, like, if my mom or somebody in my family, some of them, they wouldn't go to a doctor, like, if they got cancer or something, because it terrifies them, because they're just like, they're just gonna hurt me more, you know? And it's so messed up. And I thought the medical field was there to, like, heal people, but, and I know it's not a perfect world, but it's like, at what point do you stop looking at people like we're just numbers? Like, at what point do you listen to the patients? At what point do you do peer, like, do you work with the team of people? Like, it's not just you. It's, you need to work with the team of specialists when you deal with a patient, and you need to listen to your patient. If your patient has told you that they've been dealing with these symptoms for years and that other doctors haven't taken them seriously, maybe it's time. Even if they have a mental diagnosis, maybe it's time that you listen. Maybe you should do research into that, because do you know how many people, especially women, and especially women of color, that have been medically gaslit? Like, it's crazy. It's insane. It is so insane. How many of us, and I'm in that group, but there's a group that's even worse off than me too. Like, come on, people, come on. And there's people that will never, they'll never get diagnosed. And there's people that have died that have never been diagnosed. And I want to go home. I want to go home. And I got these diagnoses. I had to work my butt off to, I've been going to medical doctor after medical doctor, procedure after painful procedure. I've exhausted myself. I have fallen downstairs. I have had such a hard time the last 2 years dealing with this stuff, okay? And I applied for disability in 2023, and it wasn't until this month that I was approved. And it is a joke how much they're gonna give me. I haven't even gotten a payment yet. It's a joke though. Like, how am I supposed to live on that? And on top of that, like, you think you know people like that are here to help you, but as soon as you, like, get a little bit of power back, the people that are helping you, it's like scary. Like, it's really scary to see, because I have just enough money to, like, go visit my family for, like, spring break. I haven't seen them in a really, really long time. And it's like I'm having to choose between that and, like, a place to live. And it's terrifying. And that shouldn't be that way. Like, but I can't survive on disability alone. And that's messed up. And so, you know, another YouTuber asked my advice the other day, like, what to do to help. And it's like, I gave some very generalized advice, and I really wanted to help, and it's like, I don't know how to help. I have been trying really, really hard, and I thought I was gonna be okay, and I'm not even okay. I'm not. I haven't been on YouTube because as soon as I think I'm okay enough to get back on YouTube, something else happens, and I'm not okay. And I keep finding more stuff, and I don't even want to know anymore. I don't want to know any more stuff. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anymore. I don't. What am I going to do with it? What are they going to do? What are they going to do for me? Are they going to make me more sick? Are they going to help me? Like what? What do I do? Live in a women's shelter? Like, leave all my stuff here. Go live in a women's shelter? What do I do? Sell all my things? Where? Where am I going to sell them? How am I going to do that? Incognito. Person that never leaves the house, that lives here. What do I do? What do I do? Spend all the money when I finally get it to leave? To go where? To do what? To do what? Nothing. I don't know. I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. I'm disappointed in this country. I'm disappointed in this system. I'm disappointed in it. I have a master's degree. It's a terminal degree. I don't have a low IQ. You'd think I might, but I don't. I was in honors. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you want to help people. It doesn't matter if you're selfish. It matters how much money you have and how strategic you are. That's what I've learned by watching other people. You can be influential. You can. But there's a point to which you're too influential that the people that are in the higher bracket will knock you down. Because this is like a things that I shouldn't say on the internet. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. And not that I'm like anything special. I have like less than 200 followers, but basically you know, it's no wonder that if there were aliens that they wouldn't come here. Like, just put it that way. We are not that evolved. That's what I think. As a species, as an intelligent species, we are not that evolved. And I think it's very egotistical of us to think that we are. I'm not saying that there's no good in the world. I'm just saying that it would do us some good to have some humility. There's art in humility. There's art in everything. Even in this rant, so do with that what you will. And remember, there's no I can't, and I'm learning how to make art.